For all the latest on the SaWGuy podcast, be sure to subscribe and don't forget that bell icon. Welcome to the SaWGuy podcast. As always, y'all know I am the SaWGuy, and you're joining me for a special two-part episode on Monsterpalooza weekend. Monsterpalooza is fucking epic, man. There was so much to do over there. I could not put this all down in one episode. So you're getting a special two-part episode. This is going to be part one that's all based on everything to do with Monsterpalooza and the whole convention things and everything that goes on with it. So let's get started, right?
Hello, and welcome to the SaWGuy podcast.
I ain't no fucking clown. That is better.
Now clear your minds. He knows what scares you.
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
What the hell? The boogeyman is real, and you found him. What do you want?
I want to hear you scream.
Hell. Everybody loves popcorn.
To most of my viewers and fans that don't know what Monsterpalooza is a horror convention that they typically do in, the West Coast. And it's actually become one of the bigger ones, It's pretty interesting because this event has only been around for like the last 11 years, because last year they did the 10th year anniversary. But typically, Monsterpalooza started out as this horror convention, like as I said. They would do it in Burbank, but it got so popular and so big that they had to do their main one, which is this one that just passed. They moved it actually down to Pasadena, California. And, it's not that far out from Burbank. I mean, 20, 30-minute drive, not too bad, But they typically do two events per year, right? They do one around the springtime, usually around spring break. Then their second one, they'll kind of tie in around, like, the week before Halloween. It's like their kickoff to Halloween out there. And it's pretty cool, But Monsterpalooza, I've always loved that convention because it's so chill out there. I mean, everybody's so great. You meet the horror community and everybody. I mean, if you go over there and tell me that you didn't meet one friend out there or one cool person, I know you're lying. Because me, when I was out there, even waiting in line, I was meeting everybody. It was pretty cool, Everybody's so chill and everything. But what Monsterpalooza is, it's a horror convention, but it's not your typical horror convention, right? Everyone talks about, the anime cons or Comic-Con, the big thing, right? But the horror cons, there's various different ones that I could tell you about. But out of all of them, I'm not going to say it just because I'm a West Coast boy, but I will say this. Monsterpalooza, hands down, has always been my favorite. And it's my favorite because they do so much out there. It's not just you go over there and you can meet and greet everybody, some of the big movie stars. But it's just the fact that, they have a huge variety of vendors. And, if you're interested in, art and anything that has to do with, like, horror art or creepy art or anything like that, this is your place to shine. Honestly, it's really fun to go out there. And this is one of my souvenir packets that they were giving everybody out there, just so you can see what it's all about. Bam, the dates. There it is, April 12th to the 14th. And like I said, Monsterpalooza is legit. And what's cool about these is that if you go to the convention, and if you're like me, I typically like to go up there, and I like to budget everything out and everything. But what's cool is that they give this out for free to everybody, So I usually take a couple of them, and I have stacks of them that I've saved through the years. But, this year for Monsterpalooza, it felt a little different to me. And it felt really different because of the fact I've been going to Monsterpalooza since 2013. It started around in 2008. And little by little, each year, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, this year, by far, I'm going to not lie to you, this has to be the biggest year that they did it, because of not only just the names of the people that you can meet and greet, but also the fact of what kind of big name vendors they got out there. I mean, shout out to Cavity Colors out there, I don't know if you're tuning in or anything, but thank you for saving me the mediums, because I got my Motel Hell shirt. Cavity Colors, if you guys don't know, they're a big t-shirt company. What they do is that they like to make like special art and everything, print them on a shirt, and they're like a one-time print. So if you miss out on getting them, there's a good chance that they may not bring them back. Sometimes they do if they're popular, but that was just one of the many vendors that's out there, They have various other different ones too. As I said, it's really big for the horror community and for the art community because there's a lot of artists that's out there already in Southern California, LA area, around over there. And what's pretty cool is that most of them, they'll, make their own art, like draw it out, sketch it or whatever. They'll either sell prints or, you know, you might meet some cool people that are actually selling the originals. And, you know, it's like, whoa, wow, you did all this? And some of the stuff was kind of mind-blowing to me. I'm pretty sure you'll see through the pictures scrolling through. I'm gonna have pictures scrolling through of, you know, everything that went down in the event, you know, so everything from how big it is to how everyone's having a good time, you know, a couple of selfies of me and, you know, me and Last Unicorn went out over there, and other cool people that I met, you know, before and after the event, you know. Like I said, it's a chill event because, you know, you can go over there and it's typically not expensive at all, you know. It's one of those things where you order your ticket online. And, you know, back in the day, I think they were like $20 when they first started. Obviously, with inflation, they've gone up, you know, so it's like $30, you know, if you order them online and $35 at the door. But you don't ever want to get at the door. If you plan to go to Monsterpalooza, please, I beg of you, just from seeing this line, they have two separate lines. One if you already bought your ticket, one if you got to buy a ticket at the day of the event, right? What you want to do is go online, order your ticket, and then just save the picture or whatever on your phone, you know, like the digital ticket, because they scan it and they give you a wristband and everything like that. You want to do that because when you wait in line, they just scan it, give you your wristband, and they let everybody in. Now, if you're one of the late people, make sure you get there bright and early. I'm talking like if the event opens at 11 a.m., be there at like 7 a.m. because if you're not there that early, the line like literally loops all around. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I didn't think it was going to be, you know, super big event. But Monsterpalooza, guys, it has grown into this huge phenomenon to like one of the best horror conventions on the West Coast. It really has. You know, some of the things, like I said, I'll look through. I'll show you guys the souvenir packet and everything. What's pretty cool about this is that they actually have like the list of people that you can meet and greet. They tell you in the pamphlet too that, you know, there's all the makeup demos, which is really cool because they have SaWGuY out there. SaWGuY is another big makeup company. If you ever shop like at, you know, a Halloween store, Party City, Spirit Halloween, you know, all the makeup companies that say, oh, this is the tube makeup or this is the kit makeup. They actually show you how this makeup works. And it's so cool, you know? So, I mean, even if you don't like horror films, but you love Halloween, this is another typical event that you have to attend. I mean, it's really cool, you know? And then here's a list, a breakdown of what they have, all the actors that you can meet. Which is pretty cool, because the main ones that they had out there were, what's his name? Paul Rubens, which we all know, Pee Wee Herman, right? They also had, who else was there? They had tons of people. I mean, honestly, they had Bruce Campbell, they had Vivica Fox, Sid Haig, you know, we all know him from Captain Spaulding, right? Daniel Harris from the Halloween franchise. Like, a lot of people were there, and it's just amazingly fun. But I do have to put this disclaimer on there, right? The thing that sucks about this is that you have to decide what day that you want to go. And this is why I titled this episode Monsterpalooza Weekend, because it goes on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Now, if you want, you know, I typically don't do it. You know, I like to go one day on the main day and have a good time. But typically what people do is that you can, they mostly do it at hotels, like the convention centers and stuff. So you can get the hotel and a weekend pass ticket, which is kind of a cool deal if you want to go for the full weekend. But personally for me, I like to go the main day. You know, it's $35 a day. And once you get in, like I said, it's all fun. You can do the weekend pass. I think the weekend pass is, you know, roughly $75-$80 around that range from what I've seen. I've never gotten the weekend pass. You know, personally, you go through it the main day, you're just like, whoa, that's a lot of horror to take in one day, because it goes on all day. It's not like you go in and it's done within 4 or 5 hours. When I went, honestly, it started at 11 a.m. and it didn't end until 6 p.m. So that's, woo, that's about roughly almost 8 hours of, you know, walking around. And it's not a small place, the one that they did in Pasadena. The one in Burbank is about half that size if you guys have gone. But if you go to the Pasadena one, you guys know who've been to Monsterpalooza. You know there's so much to go through, man. And I haven't even, you know, touched bases, not on the fact that they have like a little art museum in there, which is pretty cool, you know. I'll explain that in just a second. But, you know, with Monsterpalooza, what I love about it is the culture of it, the whole horror community. I mean, every one of us, you know, it's just, there's never been a time I've ever gone over there and there's ever been issues. As I said, I was waiting in line and I was meeting people left and right, you know, because everyone's all dressed up. I thought, okay, I'm going to be the only weirdo over there wearing my mask like usual. Because Because you guys all know I don't like to show my face. I would normally wear this mask and various other different ones, which I did, you know, and you'll see through the photos scrolling through. But I thought what was cool is that when I was waiting in line, I was talking to everybody. You know, and there was this mother that was there that was in line behind us, and we had some parking issues because the parking garage filled up, right? So this lady, she was in line behind us, and, you know, she went through the same aspect of the parking issues and things like that. And then we started talking and everything, and what I thought was really cool was the fact that, you know, her daughter's all into the horror makeup scene, and she came with her daughter, even though she said she didn't like horror films, to support her daughter. And I was like, oh, man, you know, that's cool. I mean, that's parenting done right. If you guys are watching this episode and you know who I'm talking about, hey, shout out to you. I mean, damn fine parenting. But it's cool. You know, she was telling us the whole story about how they all watched horror films and stuff like that, and how she got her daughter into kind of like the summer camp thing for like horror movie Hollywood effects makeup, which is really cool, you know. So she wanted to bring her here to see all the makeup demos and things. And there's no shortage of that when you go to Monsterpalooza. My first time I went there, I was kind of blown away at it because, you know, not only at this Monsterpalooza, but every Monsterpalooza, what they have is that they have people that go in, and they have these people like from Wuchi and all these other effects companies. You know, they'll do full head-to-toe makeup. And when I say full head-to-toe, I'm talking like they're stripped down in their underwear. They use airbrush, they use cream makeup, they put the liquid latex, everything that you see like in a Halloween store. And they detail them all out into, you know, full-on body makeup, which is really legit. And, you know, there's some that people will do like mythical creatures. Some will do like the Joker and things like that. And, you know, it's just amazing to see because when you see it in person, you know, versus when you see it in a book or in pictures and stuff, it's like, whoa, this is pretty cool, you know? As I said, too, you know, the whole horror community, they're amazing people. They really are, you know, because, as I said, I know I thought I was going to be the only weirdo wearing a mask and everything like that, but, you know, not that I'm calling anybody weirdos or anything like that, but, you know, what I thought was fun was the fact that I wasn't alone. You know, there was other people wearing masks, everybody all got into it. The best thing that I love, you know, I love seeing, you know, the mom and dads go there with their little ones and they have them all decked out and stuff. I couldn't tell you how cute it was to see so many little Pennywises and little Michael Myers. It's cool, you know, because everyone, they give kind of a bad rap with horror films and say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, it's intense, it's that. Well, not really. You know, it's basically a community. You have to live it and be born in it and appreciate it to understand it, you know? And the way that I say it is, I don't mean any offense of anything like that, but it's just more or less like, you know, if you follow horror films and you live through it, you know, I know I'm not the only one, you can appreciate that. You really can, you know, because I was just having a blast out there, you know, just seeing people and everything like that. And, you know, the best thing is that people, they go full on decked out. I mean, they do it like as the booth over there, but there's some people that are just really legit, you know. Met an individual over there who came, you know, head to toe in full Predator makeup here. You know, he had the full on Predator makeup. He had the plastic mask over, you know, the Predator face. And when he took off his plastic mask, he had the actual Predator face. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool. You know, and the best part is that everybody, they go all decked out. And they go all decked out so that way you can take pictures with them. You know, and everybody, there has never been ever a time where I've ever said, hey, can I take a picture with you? And someone says no. Everyone's so chill about it. They're like, yeah, get on in, you know. I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'5", but everybody that I was meeting there, they were all taller than 5'5". So I apologize if some of my pictures are like really far and then you see me like yay big. You know, and that's the cool thing is that they'll be like, hey, yeah, you know, you got your GoPro, you got your phone. Okay, here, I'll take a selfie, you know, and then they have it like all the way far. I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be a cool shot, you know. Everybody's super, super chill. And not only that, you know, that also stretches out to the people that are there to meet and greet, you know. I got a chance to meet a few people, catch an autograph here and there. But, you know, normally whenever I go, I try to make a list and plan it out like, oh, I want to meet this person. Oh, I want to meet that person. And that's the way it should be, you know, honestly, because things do add up. And what I mean by that is that it could get pricey at conventions, which is another reason why a lot of people, you know, tend to kind of forego them or skip them or things like that. But, I mean, honestly, if you plan ahead and budget everything all works out in the end. Trust me. A couple of people that I met in the past that actually came to this con too, you know, to this Monsterpalooza. I've met Kane Hodder before, and you know, he's a sweetheart guy. You know, you know, he's pretty cool. You know, he's different in person. I will say that. You know, just I don't know, maybe it's a fanboy in me, like, oh my god, that's Jason and Victor Crowley over there, you know? I do get starstruck, and I know there's a few people out there. Last Unicorn, I joked with him when we were there. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't get too starstruck. And then we were actually there and actually seeing them. He's like, oh my god, they're all here. And I'm like, hey, I thought you didn't get starstruck, right? I mean, it does happen to all of us. You know, I'm not going to lie. But everybody that you would meet there, everybody that they've ever brought to Monsterpalooza, I've never had any issues with. I've met so many people and made so many great memories with it. And honestly, in the end, it's all worth it, you know, because if there's an idol that you've been following for a long time, you know, one of the big people that everyone always tells me, like, oh, you got to meet him, was Lance Hendricks. He was there at Monsterpalooza a few years back, and I got to meet him, and he was a really cool dude, you know? That right there just kind of built up memories of it, you know? Or the time when I met Kane Hodder, who played Jason, or, you know, Daniel Harris. She's another sweetheart, too. Like, everybody's super chill, you know? So when you talk to them, you conversate with them and everything. And you get kind of, you know, an in-depth, behind-the-scenes kind of look of, like, how everything goes, you know? And it's fun. It's always been fun, especially for me, you know? And if you, like I said, if you're a horror fan, you will love going to this. I mean, personally for me, I try to make it a tradition every year to go. There is some years I didn't go, you know, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, I'm kind of glad that I got back into the swing of things and came back and got to go to it, because this year was fun. And the fact that you see that it's starting to grow a little bit more and more and more each year. The last time I went was actually a few years back. And when I went, they had Elvira there, Cassandra Peterson. But she didn't come in Elvira makeup, she just came as Cassandra Peterson. But to meet her, it was just like, wow, you know, and to see her and get a little starstruck. You know, I will say this, though. Early bird gets the worm, you know, because you want to go there and you want to get your ticket early. If you don't get your ticket early, that line to get a ticket at the box office, then you have to wait into a separate line to actually get in, because, you know, they do the full security check and stuff like that. It could take some time. That's why I always tell everybody and advise them, like, hey, if you're going to go to Monsterpalooza, get everything done now. You know, get your ticket, get everything ready to go, because then that way it makes it seamless. So you just have to worry about the parking and, you know, all that. Like I said, parking, it's kind of hit and miss, depends on where they do it. Pasadena is a smaller, older town, so I mean, if you get there early, chances are you can get a good parking spot. And typically they go like $15-20 to park all day, you know. If you don't get there early, I mean, you'll have to park a couple blocks down and do the walking. And I would only advise that if you're not going to go full decked out in, you know, makeup or dress up and stuff like that. You know, personally, I felt bad for some people because I know they were all dressed up. And, you know, here on the West Coast, I don't know how it is right now, but I know that day that we went, man, it was hot. We in California, I'm not going to lie, chances are we'll get like 3 or 4 days of spring, and then boom, it's summer. You know, then we're getting like 90, almost 100-degree weather, you know. But what's cool about there in Southern California, they get a nice cool breeze later on, like midday towards the night and stuff. But it's one of those things that if you're going to go to it, you want to make sure that you plan accordingly, because it is an all-day event and it is fun. But, you know, you want to make sure you wear comfy shoes. You know, my mistake was I went over there and I was wearing Chucks, and I was like, oh, man, they're killing my feet. But you know what? I was having such a great time, I completely forgot about it. You know, and then the best part is that not only do you see everybody all dressed up and you get to say hi to everybody, occasionally you will run into maybe other famous people there, you know, and they're there just as fans. And that's what's so cool about social media now these days. You know, if you follow somebody on Instagram that worked on this movie and they were a makeup effects artist and stuff like that, chances are, you know, they'll probably be over there as a fan to go and support Monsterpalooza and go walking all around. Last Unicorn, he saw a couple people that, you know, he's seen that is pretty well known. And when he went up and talked to him, I was like, whoa, I know that guy. You know, and you just see him as fans. The horror community is such a great atmosphere. Everybody's so chill. I mean, there's even people that when I last went, they're still going every year, you know. And there were some people that I saw, and I was like, hey, man, long time no see, you know. We basically, you know, that's how you meet some good friends. I met a good friend of mine. Actually, it wasn't at Monsterpalooza, but I met him at another horror convention that took place in Burbank. And, you know, we hit it off that one time that I had met Tobin Bell, you know, one of my favorite idols, because y'all know Saw's my favorite, right? We were in line, and we just hit it off. We became good friends, you know. We still talk to this day. He's actually the buddy of mine that made me this button right here. So, if you're watching my episodes, buddy, hey, I still wear it every episode for you, man. Thank you again. You know, so, I mean, you meet some good people there. And that's what I love about it. I mean, it's so welcoming. It's so fun an environment. They even make it friendly for if you got little ones, you know. So if you're somebody, you know, that has kids and they're into the horror film thing and, you know, they like the scary movie characters, I mean, it's a great event to go and take them out to. It really is, you know. It was just so cute to see all these little kids and everybody all dressed up. What was the best part is that, you know, I was seeing people, you know, dressed up as mini Michael Myers or, you know, mini Pennywise. Then you see, you know, everybody else all dressed up in their costumes, you know. I didn't get a chance to meet these people, you know, and talk to them like everybody, because if you were there at the event, you saw it was just so many people coming in all at once. As many people that were coming in, there was a lot of people coming out. It's a great event. It really is. And it's grown through the years. It really has, you know. And the best part is that, like, you have social media. So if you post anything, I'm sure I have some of you guys following me here on Instagram, on Twitter, or on Facebook. What I did as an Instagram exclusive is that I was basically showing pictures of my whole journey of the trip. And what's cool is that if you put hashtags, then you see, like, other people, you know, kind of seeing what you were seeing, you know, and then you get to conversate with people. There was a few people that I met that way, and they're like, hey, I saw you over there, and I'm like, how come you didn't say hi? You know, I mean, it's not like I bit anybody, you know, or anything like that, but it was just more or less like, it's a cool, welcoming environment, because, as I said, if you see people there, but you don't meet them personally, and you see them come across, like, you know, when you're looking through Monsterpalooza on social media, for sure, you can strike up a conversation, you know, because the horror community, everybody that likes horror, I've known everybody to be super chill, super welcoming, super opening, and that's what makes it more fun. That's what makes it so much fun. You know, there's times that I've actually gone by myself. You know, I've taken the drive out there, you know, it's about a 4-hour drive, you know. I've gone up there by myself and met up with a couple of people, got to hang out, meet new friends. It's such a great environment, you know. As far as the vendors, now I'm going to get back to this, and I do apologize for jumping back and forth, but man, Monsterpalooza was such a damn good time. The vendors that they have there, they don't have just like your basic run-of-the-mill kind of vendors. They have some big-name people out there. Blackcraft Cult. A lot of you guys that don't know Blackcraft Cult, they did like these, you know, oddball t-shirts where it had, you know, various different things on there, or, you know, you might have seen me wear a couple of t-shirts that look like a Ouija board that says, you know, I drink my coffee black or something like that. They sell their t-shirts now at Hot Topic. But what's cool is that, you know, they have their own, you know, brick and mortar store out there in Southern California, but they had a vendor booth right there. So it was pretty cool. You get to see a lot of people, you know, like local artists that actually, you know, do prints and stuff like that. And they do amazing work, you know. They have, you know, there were some that caught my eye that I picked up and some that I didn't. But the way that I will tell everybody is that, you know, when you get to Monsterpalooza, you want to go through all the vendors first, kind of guide around, and then kind of make a mental list of what you want to get, you know. Because like I said, Monsterpalooza, it adds up pretty quick. Depends on how much that you plan for your budget and stuff like that. For me, when I go up, I usually plan a decent budget where I'm like, oh, okay, I'll save this to go and do this and do that and get it this and get that. And, you know, every year is different for me, or every time I go to it. You know, this time that I went in, I made sure that I told myself, I said, hey, most of the stuff that they have, you know, because there's a lot of little collectible shops, you know, in the Southern California area, they'll have a booth. If they have something that I've never seen or a rare, like, old figure that you can't find anywhere, typically, you know, I'll get it. If they have other cool stuff there, because I know 9 times out of 10, some of these collectible vendors, what they'll do is that they'll sell, like, a lot of the stuff that they have in case someone's there. You know, take, for instance, Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder, he obviously played Jason. He played, you know, Victor Crowley in Hatchet. What they'll do is that they'll have either, you know, Hatchet t-shirts or lots of Friday the 13th stuff, so that way you can get it there and then have, you know, Kane Hodder go and sign it and making it more personalized for you, which is fun. You know, I love that convenience of it, you know. It just makes it so much more better, because I know not everyone's going to be like your typical true hardcore fan to carry all the stuff and everything like that, because it's a lot to carry. You know, when I go, typically I carry like 3 or 4 bags. I carry, you know, my sling bag, my reusable bags on one arm on each end. I carry extra bags with me just in case, you know, because you never know, you know, if you go in there and you find something that you like, you got to be able to carry it all around. And it depends on how far you park too. You know, if you park like a couple blocks away and you bought a lot of stuff, then you're going to have to do that whole long walk back and then a long walk, back into the convention, But typically, like for an example, for me, this is what I do. I get a binder like this, and whoever I meet, I make sure that I put it in to these little plastic sheets right here, So every person that I met and get like a photo op, or not a photo op, if I get like a photo that they're selling and they autograph it, I make sure that I put it all in here so that way I don't, get them damaged or anything like that. So it's pretty cool. It's just little winks like that, that I tell everybody to be prepared. Because like I said, this is so handy. Trust me. If you go in there and you don't have, like, let's say, for instance, I met, Michael Gross, the guy who played Burt Gummer. What I loved about him is that, I've always loved the character of Burt from Tremors, right? Unfortunately, they don't make too much Tremors merch now. Well, at the time they didn't. Now they have t-shirts and little things here and there and like that. But at the time they didn't. So he was selling prints, from his movies where it showed him. So he's a sweetheart too, When he gave me the autograph and everything, he was like, wow, you came prepared. I was like, yeah, I don't want to, smudge the Sharpie marking where he autographed it and everything. So I put it in the slip. And, that's another thing that you have to think about too, when you go. I said, you got to plan these things out, like, okay, I'm going to get an autograph from this person, but I'm going to buy a print because, I don't have like a Jason mask to get it signed and stuff, and that's what's pretty cool about it, as long as you go prepared, you go over there wearing comfy shoes, you have a good time, you plan early, it's going to be an amazing time. Even if you don't, the only thing that I will say is, if you go to the ticket box office, you just want to make sure that you get there super early, just so you're not waiting too long. I always tell everybody, the worst part of going through Monsterpalooza is waiting in the line because there's so many people. That's the worst part, because it's like, wow, I've been in this line, at this amount of time, but I could have gone through here and hit up that and check out this, check out that, But you plan everything accordingly, like I said, and get it early, like your tickets and stuff like that, and see who's going to show. And what's cool about Monsterpalooza, and I loved this too about them, is that if you follow them on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, if you go to their webpage, Monsterpalooza, or if you even sign up for their mailing list, what they'll do is that they'll mail you updates all the time. So they say, okay, we just announced for Sunday Monsterpalooza, it's coming in September. And they'll say, like, so far we have these guests that are coming, And then little by little, as it gets closer, they'll send you updates, or they'll post it on their social media page. And they'll say, like, oh, this person might have canceled, or he can't make it this day for the full weekend, so they'll be here Sunday only, or this person, they said they can only do Friday, but now they're going to be there all weekend, It's pretty cool. So if you want to go to Monsterpalooza, I advise also to follow them, like them on their social media page, and sign up for their mailing list, because that helps out too, because on their main webpage, they tell you all the vendors that are going to be there. They tell you all the guests that are going to be there, what time it starts, what time it ends. That's where you can go and get your tickets. If you want to do like the special hotel rates to get the hotel there, because they stay at nice hotels, whether it's like a Hilton or a Marriott hotel. They do some pretty good deals, Personally, for me, there's so many things to do during Monsterpalooza weekend. Like I said, this is why there's a special 2-part episode, because in part 2, I'm going to explain a lot of other different things that I did during that Monsterpalooza weekend. But what's cool about Monsterpalooza, is that they don't tell you all the other cool things that's there in their local area. Say for an example, the Monsterpalooza that just happened, they had it in Pasadena. Well, where they're placed at, where the event was going, it was a couple blocks down from the original Laurie Strode house from the original Halloween in 1978. It's pretty cool because you can go drive down over there, you can check out the house and everything, and man, it's so awesome. The owners of the house, they're such sweethearts too, because they have a bucket right there. They know that it's a famous house. They have a bucket with a fake pumpkin. So anybody that drives over there and wants to see the house and take pictures of it on the outside, they have the little stoop where she sat on carrying the pumpkin. They have a pumpkin right there so you can sit on that stoop and hold the pumpkin and take a picture, which I thought is like amazing, It's amazing because there's so many cool people out there that go and see this, and then the fact that they're super chill about like, yeah, you can come up and take a picture, and because it's a famous, iconic spot, And then 2 blocks down from the Laurie Strode house is the original Myers house, which just blows my mind because, from 1978 to now, they obviously improved it. They took down some houses nearby, but they left the Myers house as a true landmark, which is pretty cool. They have it open as a business. So the business basically says, hey, you can take all the pictures you want, just don't disrupt the business. And they're really super chill about it. And it's just amazing. Because you can go over there and see the actual house that they filmed it in, you know? And it still looks exactly the same as in 1978 from the movie. It's just, you know, obviously they built up around it and stuff like that, but it's still the same looking house. And man, you know, it was just amazing just to see that iconic house from 1978 to now, you know, a clear, obviously, you know, 41 years later, it's still there. And it's just like, whoa, mind blown. You know, they don't tell you little things like that. But if you're a horror fan and if you know a little bit of in and outs and stuff like that, I would say just Google it while you're there. You know, that way you can take a look at it. Because I mean, honestly, that I didn't know how close it was to the convention until I started looking up. Like, I'm still in Pasadena. We're already done with it. You know, let's check it out and see. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's where the Laurie Strode's house at. Let's go check that out. You know, but it's cool for Monsterpalooza, like I said, because they have so many different vendors, so many different cool people. And I still haven't even gotten into, you know, the museum part of it, right? So they have this little art exhibit. They call it the Museum of Monsterpalooza. And every year, for the big main one, they always switch it up. Like one year they did the Bride of Frankenstein, right? And what they did is they gave everybody like a Bride of Frankenstein bust, and everybody had to design it their own certain way. Well, this year, they did, you know, a bunch of different themes with it, you know? So they had the Scary Closet, which is another vendor company there that does like all the little puppets and stuff like that from horror films. Like they make replicas and sell them. They did this big huge thing on Dead Silence, and you all know I love Dead Silence. So right when you get in, you see they have all the dolls right there from Mary Shaw, and it will play the music, and then all of a sudden it gets quiet, and then you hear like the you see all the doll heads move and stare at you, which is like, whoa, okay, this is cool, you know, because they make it a little bit interactive, you know. Then you see some of the other sculptures that people have done and things like that. And then they had this this box. It was kind of like a gypsy fortune, you know. So they had somebody to stand next to it, and they're like, oh, you know, this is whatever symbol that you get here will tell you your fortune up here, right? So, you know, he winds it and everything like that. And he's like, think of a thought, you know. And then it will show you like your fortune and stuff, which was pretty cool. They had you know, a huge life-size bust of the alien xenomorph there, which I thought was amazing. You know, they had another life-size bust of the new Michael Myers from Halloween, you know, 2018. And I was just like, wow. All the art there was just amazing. And most of the art, they're from some of the vendors that's there. Some of them are local from Southern California, and some of them, they're from all over, you know. And that's what I love about Monsterpalooza, because it's not just centered around, like, Southern California, but you get people from all over. Other people that I was talking to, you know, they were from the East Coast that came flying out to go and check out Monsterpalooza. And they were, you know, they were some of the coolest people out there, you know, because, you know, when you meet another horror fan that's into the same thing that you're into, you know, whether it's Halloween or Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger with Nightmare on Elm Street and Jason Voorhees with Friday the 13th, you all share common interests, and you meet a lot of cool people out there, and that's what makes it fun. You know, so at the end of the day, my Monsterpalooza weekend was fantastic. If y'all ever decide to go to Monsterpalooza, like I said, follow them on their social media page, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Look up their webpage at Monsterpalooza. I mean, just type in Monsterpalooza in Google. Boom, their webpage pops up. They have all the dates and everything when they go. Typically, the one in spring, like I said, that's the one that is like their bigger one, so they have a lot more stuff going on. The smaller one, like I said, it's called Son of Monsterpalooza, which is kind of cool, the name, Son of Monsterpalooza. They typically do that like the last or midweek to end of, you know, September, so that's why it kicks off, you know, Halloween. And they typically still do that in Burbank. I'm not sure if they're going to move that back to Pasadena or not, but they would have all the details there. So if you decide to plan to go to a horror convention, if you've never been to one, and you're on the West Coast, I say give Monsterpalooza a shout out and check them out. I haven't gotten a chance to go towards the East Coast yet, or to Texas, because I know they have some pretty good ones out there. But overall, in horror conventions, if you've never been to one, be prepared, because it is fun, it is amazing. You'll meet so many cool people, the vendors are chill. Let alone, I mean, Monsterpalooza is great, don't get me wrong, but I know there's probably another Monsterpalooza kind of like convention on the East Coast. I've heard of, you know, Frightmare and all these other ones, and I've heard nothing but good things about them too, you know. If you've never been, like I said, to a horror convention, check it out. It's amazing. Just do what I do. Just make sure you plan accordingly and kind of scope it around, kind of see and be a little bit prepared for it. Just make sure that you wear comfy shoes and stuff, because if it's an all-day event and walking all around, for sure you're gonna have to want to take a break or something to kind of sit and rest. I know when I went, I kept telling Last Unicorn, I'm like, let's sit down for a minute, let's catch up here. Because I have my 2 bags and then my normal bag and then, carrying the binder with all the autographs and everything. I mean, it does get tiring a little bit, but like I said, that's why they open it up for like 3 days. So you have to plan it out. Do you want to go, half a day here, half a day here, full day there, and all that fun stuff, But be sure to join me next week when I have part 2 of this Monsterpalooza weekend special, because like I said, there was a lot to do in Monsterpalooza weekend, and it's not just the horror convention and visiting the Myers house and the Laurie Strode house. There was a lot more, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. So be sure to tune in for part 2 of this episode next week, guys, and I'll catch y'all next time, as always.
Bow down to